Another fast way to graph a linear equation is to graph it using the x and y intercepts. To do this, the equation does not need to be in slope-intercept form, but you will need to make a chart until you get more comfortable with this method. For the first example, we will use the equation 4x plus 5y equals 20. The first step is to substitute 0 in place of the x, then solve for y. If we do this, we will get 4 times 0 plus 5y equals 20. Since 4 times 0 is 0, we can just eliminate this term. So now we're left with 5y equals 20. If we divide both sides by 5, we end up with y equals 4. So the first coordinate we're going to graph is 0, 4. Since the x value of the coordinate is 0, we're going to start at the origin, but we won't move left or right. Since the y value is 4, we can move up 4 squares. This is where the line will cross the y-axis. We only have one more coordinate to get before we can graph the line. Now, using the same equation, we're going to substitute 0 in place of the y to get 4x plus 5 times 0 equals 20. Since 5 times 0 is 0, we can eliminate this term to get 4x equals 20. Now solve for x by dividing both sides by 4. This gives us an x value of 5. So our second coordinate is 5, 0. To graph this coordinate, we're going to start at the origin and move to the right 5 squares. Since the y value is 0, we will just stay on the x-axis and not move up or down. This shows us where the line crosses the x-axis. The only step left is to connect the dots. Let's try another example. 2x minus 4y equals negative 8. First, replace the x with a 0 and solve for y. When we do this, we get 0 minus 4y equals negative 8, or just negative 4y equals negative 8. To solve for y, divide both sides of the equation by negative 4 to get y equals 2. When we graph the coordinate 0, 2, we see that this is where the line will cross the y-axis. Now we're going to go back to our equation, but this time we're going to replace the y with 0. When we do this, we will have 2x minus 0 equals negative 8, or just 2x equals negative 8. To solve for x, just divide both sides of the equation by 2 to get x equals negative 4. When we graph this coordinate, negative 4, 0, we see where the line crosses the x-axis. Now the only thing left to do is to connect the dots. How about one last example? 15x minus 5y equals 15. First, replace the x with 0 and solve for y. Since we know that anything times 0 is 0, we can just get rid of the 15x term. It's just going to become 0 anyway. That leaves us with negative 5y equals 15. To solve for y, divide both sides by negative 5 to get y equals negative 3. Graph the coordinate 0, negative 3 to see where the line will cross the y-axis. Now, replace the y with 0 and solve for x. Since negative 5 times 0 will be 0, we can just get rid of the y term and solve for x. This leaves us with 15x equals 15. To solve for x, divide both sides of the equation by 15 to get x equals 1. So our second coordinate is 1, 0. This shows us where the line will cross the x-axis. Connect the dots and you're done. Once you get used to using the x and y intercepts to graph lines, you will be able to do them much faster.